very good day to you and welcome once again to the program. As I'm speaking to you now, the weather is changing. On the farm, we are now going into autumn. And there are seasons in our lives. I don't know what season you're in at the moment, sir. Maybe the family's all left home and you and your wife are sitting together in the house. That's a season. Maybe you're just about to get married. Maybe you've just had your first child. Maybe you're just going to university. Maybe you're about to leave school. But there are seasons in our lives. This is the season of autumn. They call it fall if you're watching in America. But you know, there's a little bird which I love so much. And I want to tell you about this little bird in 5 minutes. He is the barn swallow. The barn swallow. This little bird's not much bigger than this. And you know something? He flies all the way from the northern hemisphere. He's a summer bird. He doesn't like the winter. When it gets cold in Europe, he comes down to South Africa. When it gets cold in South Africa, he flies back to Europe for the summer there. And you know, if I had to sum up this little bird in one word, I would say faithful. He's a faithful little bird. You know, Jesus says in Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 5, I will never leave you and I will never forsake you. And when I see that little bird, it reminds me so much of the Lord. You know, folks, I'm a jogger, I'm a runner, I run in the mornings, early in the morning, and that little barn swallow, you'll see him when they're getting ready to migrate up to the north. He sits on the telephone lines with thousands and thousands of his friends. And they sit tightly up together. I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe they're talking about their plan, the way they're going to go north. I know that they fatten themselves up in the southern hemisphere. They don't have nests here and they don't breed here. They breed in the north. But that doesn't matter. He's a faithful bird. They talk about him as being a bird who is a fidelity bird. Fidelity is an old-fashioned word which means faithfulness. Infidelity is the opposite. It's unfaithful. When a partner is unfaithful to her husband or to his wife. But that little bird is known as a bird of fidelity. Now they tell me a lot of the seamen, the sailors, they'll get a little swallow tattooed on their arm or something. And that swallow will tell their families one thing: I will be back. The swallow always comes back. And that's another reason why I can't go with Darwin's theory, folks. That little bird will fly from here something like 6,000 kilometers to the same country. Okay, he goes right through the Sahara Desert, across the sea. Little bird, up to 450 kilometers a day he flies, a day. And he'll go back to the same country. Okay, if it happens to be, say, England, or if it happens to be France or Germany, he'll go back to the same country. He'll go back to the same town, the same street, and the same house. And that's where his nest is, and he'll nest there. Who told him to go back to the same house, the same nest? It must be God. And I want to tell you, that little faithful bird will be back again. When winter comes on in Europe, he'll be back down here again. And they've put rings around these little birds. They've flown up to 11,000 kilometers. Isn't that amazing, that little bird? So if they can do it, you can do it, and so can I do it. We need to remain faithful to Jesus. They say these little birds go through snowstorms, they go through dust storms, they get taken up by human beings and by other birds of prey, but they press on, and they go back and forwards. And when I run and I see those little birds collecting, I say, Lord, it's another season. Another season, but Father, you are with us. And just as he goes with those little swallows, he stays with us as well. Folks, put your trust in God. He is faithful and he will never, ever forsake you. Goodbye.
We trust that you have been blessed by today's message. For more information, please visit angusbuchan.com.